From WFRV TV, Local 5, serving Northeast Wisconsin, including Green Bay, Fox Cities, and the Lakeshore. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. During these times of high prices, there's a Green Bay organization helping to feed those who can't afford to shop at the grocery store. We're talking about Paul's Pantry, and joining us this morning is Bob Hornacek, the Assistant Executive Director at Paul's Pantry. Good to have you back on the show, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tom.
Thanks for coming in. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of Paul's Pantry, how about the nuts and bolts of Bob Hornacek? How did you get to where you are today with the organization?
How long of a show is this?
Yeah, what was the climb upward?
Well, as we spoke about before, I did have a career in journalism here in Green Bay of about 20 years.
Right, you're on TV 11.
Yep, I was on TV 11.
That is Bob Hornacek.
I used to have, I went by Robert because, you know, I had to have an adult grown-up name, and when I was a 23-year-old college kid getting out of school, Robert sounded like a grown-up instead of Bob. But so I had a career in journalism. It was great. I loved it. It was great for our family. And then probably about 10 years ago or so, I really started to feel this pull to service, especially a community service. Faith-wise, I'm a Catholic. I was ordained a deacon in the Catholic Church, and that's a very service-oriented ministry, and really serving people on the margins of society. And so I just kind of prayed about it and said, whenever there's an opportunity to do something more directly for people in need, I'm open to it. And Paul's Pantry showed itself as an opportunity. Real quick story I'll share with you is I actually saw the posting because, you know, in this industry you work under contracts, and as you know, about 6 months or so out from a contract, I'd kind of I'd peruse the job opportunities around just in case I needed to make a change. Right. So I kind of saw this posting, and I talked to Craig Robbins, who's the longtime executive director, who I'd interviewed just like this many times, and I called him up and said, hey, what's this all about? And he told me about it, and I said, well, good luck finding somebody to do that, because I was just not interested. And all I can tell you, Tom, is if you've ever had something kind of sit in your gut and you just can't stop thinking about it for a couple weeks. And so I was actually taking our oldest two kids to school. They were in high school at the time, and from where I lived, I took a completely different route than I would normally take to them to drop them off at school. Yeah. And mind you, I rarely, if ever, took them to school. They always got a ride, but for some reason this day I'm taking them. And I was having this argument with God the whole way. I'm just having this, like, the kids didn't know anything about it, but I'm kind of like, why can't I stop thinking about this dumb job at the food pantry? This is not what I'm doing if I leave television. And I kept going, and then as I got closer to the school, the prayer kind of changed a little bit, and then I was like, well, I did say I would do whatever I felt God was calling me to do, as long as it was more directly serving people in need. But this is ridiculous. So I was still nowhere I was driving. I was driving on Ashland Avenue, right near Vanderpeeren Way, kind of near 172. Right. When I had this prayer in my head, and I said, all right, God, I can at least put in a resume to Paul's Pantry, but you have to help me out and let me know if this is really what you want me to do. And I swear, at that moment, I hit the stoplight, and a Paul's Pantry truck pulled out right in front of me. Right? I get chills telling you the story right now, because it was amazing. So at that point, I thought, okay, there's something happening here. Several other things happened along the way, not a big truck pulling out, but other signs that kind of appeared that was just like, okay, this is what I feel I was meant to do at this time in my life. And these past 5 years that I've been there, it's been exactly where I feel like I need to be.
Paul's Pantry. What is, in your mind, the mission of Paul's Pantry?
Well, the mission for Paul's Pantry is very simple. It is a 100% community-supported free grocery store for families in need, but the secret is it's not about food. You think a grocery store is just about food, not Paul's Pantry. Yes, we're going to give out food. We're going to give out a lot of food. It's never going to be at a charge to the people in need. But the key to Paul's Pantry, Tom, is dignity. We want to make sure that when people come to see us, that they're treated well, that they're respected, that we're kind, that we're generous, and that we honor the God-given dignity that each and every one of us has. And the fact is, especially for people who are poor, who are on the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder, they are often pushed aside, they're often forgotten, they're often blamed or scapegoated for the problems we face as a society. And we want to have a place, and we have, with Leo, dating back all the way 41 years to Leo Frigo, we have created a place and continued a place where people matter. And it doesn't matter how much money they have. At Paul's Pantry, there's somebody. And that goes for our shoppers, goes for our volunteers, and it goes for our employees.
We have much more to come with Bob Hornacek and Paul's Pantry right after this, so please stay with us. And welcome back to Newsmaker Sunday. Our guest this morning, Bob Hornacek from Paul's Pantry. You mentioned Leo Frigo, 40-some-odd years. Take me back. How did it start?
Well, the story is just remarkable. Here was Leo Frigo, who had a family cheese company. They ended up selling it in the early 80s. And he was a relatively young man in his early 50s when he was retired. And was very active at the local St. Vincent de Paul chapter. I think he was on their board of directors, but he was trying to find a mission, find something to do. And he had heard that there was a problem and that they were seeing in this area with some people who were kind of being released from jails or prisons, who were struggling and would get caught stealing at grocery stores because they needed something and they didn't have the means to provide it. So he got together with a group of like-minded people, and they kind of brainstormed a little bit, and boom, Paul's Pantry was born. So, I think Leo would probably be the first to tell you he wasn't the only person involved, but he was certainly, from what I've told, and I never met the man, but had a larger-than-life personality. He had the time because he was retired, and he was really the person who really led the organization and really was the face of it, and used that personality, used, of course, his great business skills and a lot of his connections in the community through different programs, whether it be Rotary or different organizations that he was a part of, to really get this community behind it. So that building on that foundation over the past 40 years has really helped us get to where we are today, where Paul's Pantry is the largest food pantry in the entire state of Wisconsin. I worked as an investigative reporter for most of my career. I have yet to find a food pantry that serves more people, gives out as much food as often as Paul's Pantry does. And it's really because of that foundation of Leo getting together with the community leaders and just different people in the community who believed in this mission of not just food, but providing it in a dignified manner to people who need it.
How much food is going through that place every day?
Oh, well, we're distributing, we have a scale in our checkout area, so there's not a cash register per se because everything's free, but we do have a scale where we weigh the product as it leaves for each individual family. And right now we're averaging about 20 to 25,000 pounds of food going out the door every day, 5 days a week.
That is per day.
That's per day. So that's not counting the food we handle because, we do so much rescue of food from the marketplace, from grocery stores and different food manufacturers. So we're always constantly sorting through it to make sure that only the good stuff goes out. So just the nature of what we do, we are going to get some product that's not good. So we have to, get rid of it in one way or another. So there's thousands and thousands of pounds of that as well. So probably on an average daily basis, we're handling 25 to 30,000 pounds of food.
And I know you don't waste any food. Nothing goes to waste, and you have things that you do with the extra food. But first of all, I'm surprised that there is extra food.
Yeah, well, there's extra food in a way. Okay. We a lot of the products, what we do on a daily basis is we have a great team that is kind of looking at what we have, what numbers of families we're expecting to come through in a day, and then we're assessing how much we can give out. So there's some products where you can only get one because we don't have a lot. There are other products that we have that are unlimited because we have so much of it. If we don't give it out in large quantities, it's going to go bad. So the big thing we want to do is make sure nothing goes bad. Now, we're dealing with sometimes short-dated products, so sometimes that's a challenge, but we're constantly assessing that. The one thing we do is we do work with some local farmers to provide bakery and produce that's no longer good for you and I, but it would be good for livestock.
Okay. When are you open? When can people start to come and get food?
So for shopping, we distribute food 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. On those weekdays, we distribute from 9 to 1, and on Saturdays, it's from 9 to noon. We are there on Thursdays, but it's more of a kind of a catch-up day. It's a preparation day because Fridays and Saturdays are easily our busiest days. A recent Saturday, just this past Saturday, we had over 330 households come through in a 3-hour period. Wow. That's over 100 households per hour. There's 60 minutes in an hour. So that means people, as they come in and they have to be registered, they have to go through a process. We're doing that in less than a minute sometimes, as to deal with the crowd of people that we're seeing.
And you say 330. Who are these people? Who are you serving?
You know what, Tom? I always say this. The people we see at Paul's Pantry are just like you and me. But they've had a harder, more difficult life. A lot of times we see people with medical issues. A lot of times we see people with job issues. We see everybody. There's no one type of person, but I'll tell you what, we did a survey during COVID we worked with the local university to look at our population a little more, kind of delve into it a little bit. And we found 3 distinct groups that were all about 1/3 of our population. Mind you, we have 5,300 families who are registered, okay? About 1/3 of those are retirees. You know, I always say, think of your parents, think of your grandparents. A lot of the folks we see have no savings, they have no pension, they're living only on Social Security. And if you know anybody in that boat, it's not much.
Right.
So we have people living on $1,200 a month. Their rent's $800. That's not really easy to make it. The second group we have are people who have some challenges, you know, mental health issues, physical disabilities or limitations. They might be getting Social Security disability, but it's not going to be enough to really support them fully. And they're not the type of people who are going to be able to hold down a full-time job. Sure. So they might be working part-time. That's another 1/3. And then we see the working poor, people who tend to have little job experience, very low education levels. They tend to have families. And so they're working very difficult jobs in our community and sometimes not for the best pay. So they qualify for our assistance. That group in particular, really all of the folks we see in our population, but especially that smaller group or that 3rd group, the working poor, that's a group we actually have a benefit we target to that population for education benefits. We have a scholarship program that has been going on for decades. We upped it during the pandemic to about $40,000 a year, where we help people get out of our waiting room at the food pantry and into the classroom at NWTC. So we provide scholarships for those who are interested and able and qualify, so they can get an education, so they can get out of poverty.
Yeah, more than giving out food.
Right.
We have much more to come with Paul's Pantry right after this. Stay right there. We are back now with Bob Hornacek from Paul's Pantry talking about the organization. When people come to you, it's like going grocery shopping.
It is, and that's by design. We operate under what's called the choice model, which is giving people the opportunity to choose the food they want to feed their family. And to me, there's no greater way to honor somebody's dignity than to do that. Because I'll tell you, just the 2 of us, if we went grocery shopping right now, we're going to choose different things.
Right.
Because you like some things and I don't like. I don't like coconut. I don't like mustard. Those are things, if you gave it to me, I'd throw it away. So we don't want to give people food they don't want. So we give them a shopping cart, and then we just ask them to, take the items with it under our guidelines, because we'll have numbers of each item they're allowed to take, sure. But they don't have to take it. If they don't like eggs, don't take the eggs. If you don't like, hamburger, don't take the hamburger. And they're interesting, we track certain products that we purchase, because we'll use donations to purchase food. We track some of those. There's no item we have that 100% of the people take. Sure. Because there's always somebody who doesn't like it. And so for us, it would be wasteful to give everybody the same thing. Plus the dignity piece, like I said, is really the heart of our mission at Paul's Pantry. And nothing says you have dignity than getting to decide what to eat and what to feed your family.
What do you have for staff, for volunteers?
We run a small staff of about a dozen full-time employees, mostly doing kind of the behind-the-scenes things, making sure the lights stay on and the trucks are operating and things like that. But volunteer-wise, we have about 30 volunteers per day that really do the bulk of the work and do the heavy lifting at the pantry. And those are everything from our crew of all volunteer truck drivers, who I really cannot say enough about. I mean, these are men and women. Some married couples who literally go all over Northeast Wisconsin, sometimes to different parts of Wisconsin, to pick up the products for us to put on our shelves. We've got great volunteers who come throughout the day to work the distribution line. We've got great volunteers who come in to sort the products. We've got great cleaning volunteers who will come in and clean the place. And it's just, some of the jobs folks do is just, it's amazing. But there's just like our shoppers, there's no one way to say what is a shopper. there's no way to say what is a volunteer, because we take just about everybody. We've got retirees, we've got people who are doing community service for school or for court. We've got people who are just, good citizens, who are, professionals who just want to do something to help. We've got families, we've got all kinds of people. But one of the groups that's really special to us, and this started on very early on when Leo Frigo one day did not have enough community volunteers to get the pantry open. He went out into the line of people waiting to come in to get food. And he said, if you want me to open today, I'm going to need some help. From that point, ever since, we have welcomed in our shoppers to volunteer. Now, the key for them, the benefit for the shop for them, is they're going to shop before we open for the day.
Sure.
So it's kind of a nice little benefit before we open. Right before we open, they get to shop, but they're going to work. So they're going to have the dignity of work. They're going to have a sense of belonging, a sense of pride, a sense of ownership. And it really helps us at the pantry to make sure everything we're doing lines up with what our shoppers want. And it's really easy to do that because we're working side by side with our shoppers every single day.
Amazing. We are back to wrap up with Bob Hornacek and Paul's Pantry right after this. Stay with us. We are back now with Bob Hornacek from Paul's Pantry. As you well know, Bob, people are prideful, especially men. And there are guys out there who need the food to give to their families, but they say, I will not take a handout.
Right.
What do you say to somebody like that?
What I would say is, come and see us. Give me a call. Talk to me. And let's just have a conversation. I'll tell you, I had that happen more than once, especially during the pandemic. People I knew in the community from my prior career who called me up and said, I have a friend who is desperate in need, but he won't come. So we made some arrangements to make sure that they were taken care of. And all I can tell you is, you don't know until you step foot on site at Paul's Pantry to know what the experience is like, because we work really hard to make it just like the grocery store. You're right. I always say, nobody, and when they're a little kid, says, when I grow up, I want to have to rely on a food pantry to eat. That's not what people aspire to. But the people at Paul's Pantry are so kind, and the community has been so generous with us at the pantry that we are able to provide literally a week's worth of groceries for families in need. And there's no shame in it. We realize that people are people. Everybody has difficulties. Everybody has struggles. Sometimes life is really difficult for people, and usually through no fault of their own. It's not their fault that they had a serious medical condition or a really bad car accident, so they couldn't work, and they didn't have enough to get by. So I would just say, come down and see us, have a conversation, and when you see the place and you see how it's laid out and you see how it's stocked and how beautiful it is, you'll have a much different feeling about it. And I will tell you, one of the best compliments we ever received was from somebody who went to college out of the area, and they came back with an alumni group to volunteer. And they were from Green Bay, and they shared with us that when they were younger, they shopped at Paul's Pantry as a kid before they went off to college. And they said, I never knew it was a food pantry until I was in high school.
Oh my.
I just thought it was the grocery store because that's how they were treated, and that's what it looked like. And that's the thing. It's when you come in, there's aisles, there's coolers, there's freezers, there's a produce area. It's a grocery store.
You're helping people. How can people help you?
The easiest thing we always say for people is there's three things we need. We need food, we need funds, and we need volunteers. So I'm the worst salesman in the world because I'm incredibly low pressure. I just say, hey, you figure out what fits for you at this time in your life. If you believe in God, say a prayer to God, and you will be led to do the right thing that is right for you. If you're able to come down and volunteer, we always need people. Whatever your skill level is, we will find something that fits you. If you can drive a truck, great. We need truck drivers. If you are terrified of driving a vehicle, don't worry, we're not going to put you behind one. If you can operate computers, we'd put you at a station where you might be operating a computer, but we really fit our volunteers and their skills to the role that they have at the pantry. Then the food, if you go to the grocery store and you can buy a couple extra items and drop them off at Paul's Pantry, we're there 5-6 days a week. Just show up and drop it off at our back door. We would love to have it. And we have people who do that on a regular basis. There's one gentleman who comes every Tuesday morning and he drops off about 40, 45 boxes of cereal. It's amazing. He just goes to the grocery store, buys them, drops them off. It's great. If you could do something like that, that would help us immensely. And then finally, the funds. We are a 100% community-supported food pantry. We don't get a dime of funding from the government at any level. We don't get any government food. And so we really rely on those community donations to keep the coolers, electricity going, to keep the gas in the trucks, to keep the trucks insured, to keep the lights on, to keep the place operating. And we also run a very massive food purchase budget. That's well over $1 million a year in food purchasing that we do to make sure people in need are getting not just a lot of food, but that they're getting very high quality food. So it's really those three things: food, funds, and volunteers. We couldn't exist without all three of those. And I really would like to take this real quick opportunity to just say thank you to everybody in this community for what you've done over the past 41 years, because we couldn't do it without you. And it's such a privilege and an honor to be a part of an organization that's doing so much for families in need.
So much more than handing out food.
Right, it is.
Bob Hornacek, good to have you back again.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today. And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we ought to have on the show, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7:30. Until then, have a great day.